I've lived in Cape since the late 1988, and like many, I assumed that I probably was under the understanding or under the belief that there was no such thing as homelessness even in our fair city. Walking around, you would see and be under the belief that this is just a wonderful city of Cape Girardeau where all things are great and wonderful. But at my time here at the council, from my very first experiences here, I've come to realize and also come to the understanding that we do suffer. There are individuals in this town that suffer from that lack of housing, that lack of security. Since coming here, as I said, in the late January, early February, even my very first client, I do recall very simply, was just under the premise they had nowhere to go. And in Cape Girardeau City, we have no shelters that actually provide that temporary assistance for those individuals. I truly believe that everyone has a right to housing. I mean, I don't think that that's any great measure to ask from any society, that we should all have a place that we want every evening to go home to. I mean, I think housing is something that should be very important to not only each of us, but it should be doably important to those in power. My understanding when I first came to the council was that this council stands behind what's called the Housing First Initiative. And by that initiative, I say that no matter what past someone's come from, I think everyone is deserving of a place to go. We first try to provide that housing need, and then we take care of those other issues if there are some that exist along the way.
I think some of the biggest dilemmas that we experience is that there is a lack of services for transitional age youth. I know that Community Counseling Center is working to fill that gap with trying to create some transitional youth group homes here in Cape Girardeau. I think the biggest struggle has been that as these children age out of Cottonwood or a children's service system and are still in need of supports, both mental health and job training supports, unfortunately, if those services aren't in place, they can just be released and are often left on their own to then find means by which to support themselves. Many of the kiddos we get at Cottonwood have been kicked out of their homes, or they're not allowed to return to their homes. So we have to plan for what's going to be as they age out of our program. What is their next steps going to be? We try and do that with some cooperative work with the Cape Public School System in educational, vocational training. But at the biggest gap, I think, is just, again, addressing the area of transitional age youth who have mental health issues and trying to find services and places for them to get continued support past their 17th birthday.
Okay, Keith, just tell us a little bit about your, how much income you have and what, how much you make a month and how that affects your housing situation.
I receive a disability allowance in the amount of about $1,500, and it seems to be a little more than I'm allowed to qualify for housing.
Yes, and plus your age is...
I'm just not old enough.
Not old enough for housing. A lot of the housing units have age requirements, 65 and over, or, and he's a disabled person, so, that comes into play there too. So, $1,500 a month doesn't sound like a whole lot.
I don't.
But when you're looking for accessible housing and affordable housing, it becomes problematic in this area, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, I am Ronnie Phillips, and I'm employed with Catholic Charities, and my role is a support coordinator. And so what I do is to coordinate supports to help our consumers meet needs that they have. And Lillian came to my caseload a year ago, and when I met Lillian, she was living in a home that was not safe. I mean, there was holes in the floor, and it just went down there. And it was so bad that the city actually condemned the home and asked the family to go other places, which there really wasn't a convenient or a place for them to go. And they wanted to most definitely be in that home. That's where their heart was. Even though the city and everybody was saying, Lillian, it wasn't safe, it's not healthy. So that being said, many organizations came together, including Catholic Charities, the city, many local churches, and volunteers from away came together and did a total remodel of that home. And so now it is safe and clean and very nice. And Lillian and her friend were able to stay in the home and be in the home that they want to be living in. So, and it was kind of sad at that time too, because Lillian didn't have the resources. Many people have rent and deposit money and funds to buy furniture and do all those things to go into a different place. Well, that wasn't the case with Lillian. So the beauty of this is they got to remain in the home where they wanted to be, and it is now safe and a very nice home.
My name's Jessica Hill, and I'm the Executive Director of the Safe House for Women here in Cape Girardeau. And we provide safe refuge and support services for women and their children who've experienced domestic violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Here in Cape Girardeau, we have a shelter that houses up to 22 women and children for a period of time so that they can get back on their feet and have a safe place to stay after they've left a violent or abusive relationship. We also provide outreach services to non-residential clients. We will serve 200 women and children in our shelter each year, and an additional 300 non-residential clients in our outreach office.
Just having brain surgery, things just weren't clicking very well for me. I've cried a lot. I got lost in the nursing home all the time. And that went on for a couple of years. And they just kind of grandfathered me in to be there because I didn't have anywhere to go. I was indigent without the nursing home. I mean, there was no place. And then money follows the person came.
What type of things do you do daily that you enjoy? What is the difference how do you enjoy being in your new home?
I love being in my new home. Now that I've gotten used to it, it's like a whole new world to me.
You have the freedom to do what you want when you want to do it.
Right.
And make your own decisions.
I don't have anybody coming in on me and, waking me up to take my blood pressure or, whatever. But I mean, I have more space. That's the main thing. More space, more freedom.
I got approved for HUD in February of 2016, and I did my application online. And I got a letter in the mail within 2 weeks that I had got approved for a 2-bedroom home for me and my 2 daughters. My landlord that I've had at the time, she didn't accept HUD. And so I was like, well, I didn't want to move out of my neighborhood or my house. So I paced, and I called her one day and I asked her, I said, well, I got approved for HUD, and I said, I want to know what you accepted for me. And she said, well, so honey, I told you I don't accept HUD, but since you've been a loyal tenant to me, on time and everything, she said, I'll go on and do it for you. And so she accepted my HUD voucher, and so therefore I don't have to move out of my residence.
And weren't there some things she had to change about the house and you were afraid?
Yeah, she had to get the wire grounding did, and a little painting on the back, and they got all that taken care of, and so I'm just blessed.
Yeah, that's good that she was cooperative. A lot of people aren't as lucky.
No.
Another thing that you had requested from Love Inc. was a kitchen table and chairs, and I know your girls are going to school and you're going to school. Was that kitchen table, how did it make a difference?
Oh, it made a big impact on the family, because at one point in time we were struggling. They got school, I got school, got homework, and I mean, the people that donated the table to me was a blessing to me. And now we eat dinner every night together, sit around the table, play board games together, do our homework together as a family.
Yeah, it's amazing how those kind of little things can make a difference.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
So you've already talked about how nice your landlady was so you could stay there. So what's it like to know that you've got a home that you like and you're settled in? And
Well, it's great. I mean, I just thank God. And I think the people that he brought into my life, Love Inc., all the people that participated, donated, everything they did for me and my girls.
Okay, so what is living in a decent house that you're living in now? What does that mean to you?
It means a lot to be able to come home with no worries, no stress. The water works, the electric works. It's stress-free. The kids can come in, do whatever they need to do with no worries. It's stress-free. It means a lot. It's an absolute blessing. So it's wonderful.
We have a mission to provide decent and affordable houses to families in need. Our vision worldwide with Habitat is to eradicate poverty housing. And the way we do that primarily is through building homes for individuals who could otherwise not obtain a mortgage or the financing to build a home on their own. And we do this with a model that revolves around the concept of giving people a hand up, not a handout. And by that we mean we partner with a family such that they have to provide sweat equity. That's volunteer hours of work on someone else's home or in our restore, and then on the construction of their own home. And what we find is by providing this opportunity for home ownership, we are not only giving a house to this family, basic shelter, but we are inviting them in and assisting them to become part of the community, and we bring the community together with volunteers who help build it. And so we're building a home, but we're also building a community.
I guess what we could say, Lily and I could say together, was that when we saw this project and what needed to be done, it was like climbing the biggest mountain so that they could be happy and get them back in this safe in this home, or to take an easy way out to maybe pull sources to rent an apartment where their heart wasn't, where they didn't want to be. So we chose to climb the mountain, and Catholic Charities didn't do it by themselves. I didn't do it. It just wasn't one person. It was a coordination of many volunteers, some from out of town, many churches, many organizations came together to climb that mountain and make it happen. And I think you've heard the final product. We've got a proud, happy family that got to stay in their home that when I first saw it, it's like, this is not going to happen. And you know what? We somehow or another made it happen. And so I'm very happy for them. And also, I think I just want to point out that there's many types of homelessness. They had a home, but it had gotten in such disrepair due to lack of resources, lack of their skills and abilities to make it happen. And just one company really couldn't overcome that. But with everybody coming together and chipping with what they can do, it's amazing what you can make happen.